ongoing, and a move happened last night that has been my favorite of the WNBA free agency period. There have been many moves. However, what the Indiana Fever did last night got me so excited. The Fever, if you haven't been paying attention, they are really active in ensuring that Caitlin Clark and company have a true contending lineup next season. A contending roster. They have Caitlin Clark. They have Aaliyah Boston. They made sure that they re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. That was a big one. They acquired both Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner. They traded for Sophie Cunningham. They still have Lexi Hull. And now they have made a move that is literally my favorite of WNBA free agency. They have signed Sydney Colson, face of the WNBA. If you know, you know. She has spent the last 5 seasons in Las Vegas. She won 2 rings there. First and foremost, on the court, she gives the Fever a backup veteran point guard. And you might look at Sydney Colson's stats and be like, oh, she doesn't really give that much of anything. She doesn't score. She's averaging like 2 points a game. That's fine. The Fever do not need another high-volume scorer. They need a veteran backup point guard who can help manage that offense. But more importantly, Sydney Colson is the funniest player in the entire WNBA, and I can't believe that they let Caitlin Clark get Sydney Colson, because not only is Caitlin Clark one of the best women's basketball players we've ever seen, she nails all of her interviews. She has had the poise. She has handled the transition from college to the WNBA and all the stardom around it so gracefully. And now she's going to have the best content in the league. The Fever are going to have the best content in the entire WNBA next season.
And probably be a
contender.
Be
a favorite? Are you saying it?
I don't want to. I would think Vegas is still the favorite. Whatever the Sun were, they're done now. Move the Sun all the way to the bottom. So the Fever absolutely jump above the Sun. Remember when all the games we were getting in the WNBA, the first week of the season, 2 weeks of the season, was Sun Fever? So move the Sun all the way down. I like what the Aces have done in the off season, and Asia Wilson is still there, and to me that's the best player in the game right now. So I would think that the Aces would start off as favorites over the Fever, and the Liberty. But outside of those two, I don't think it's anybody else. I think that the Fever have gone from worse for the past 6, 7 pre-Caitlin Clark, 6, 7 years of just being awful, to getting Caitlin Clark and being like, oh, that's a playoff team, to now legitimate title contenders is what this Fever team is. That's Jacob. Don't pay him any attention. So yeah, I think if we did the odds, I'll look them up. But if we did odds on WNBA championship, it would be Liberty, Aces,
I think it's the
Fever.
Aces. Adding Jewel Lloyd is. Now, granted, the Aces have lost a handful of peripherals, including Sydney Colson, including Kate Martin, who's been lighting it up in Unrivaled this offseason. I'm intrigued tonight.
I definitely want to go over some points real quick. So when we talk about adding Sydney Colson, one, I don't want you guys to get your panties in a shambles when they say face of the league. This is like an inside joke thing. There's something that went on. I don't know the full story, but based off what I've seen online with Twitter and things like that, this is like an inside joke type thing or whatever the case is. Now, I will say she is the funniest in the league, most likely. Yes, I've seen plenty of clips with her and Asia and Becky Hammond, multiple clips. And I follow her on TikTok and everywhere. So I don't follow too many people anywhere. Colson's one of them. And this is before even the trade and anything. I keep up with Athletes Unlimited as well. And so besides that, I think you guys get a misunderstanding because a lot of people are saying, wow, they got Colson. What makes you think Colson's going to give them any type of help? She averages 2.3 points in the league. Well, yes, she's most likely going to score 2 points a game. But she's there to bring her knowledge, expertise, her championship mentality. She's been in a system with the Aces and Becky Hammond where they know and they prepare and they practice and move and operate as champions. And she's going to bring that over. And this is mainly for Caitlin Clark. This move was to bring a role model for Caitlin Clark. That's what it was for. A well-respected veteran in the league, high respect from every reporter, every coach in the league, every girl in the league. You'll never hear anybody really disrespecting Colson. They brought her here Not only did Colson want to come sign here and want to play here, they brought her here because they know what they're getting in Colson. A leader, a veteran, and someone who could rub off on Caitlin Clark in the right ways. Not only is Caitlin Clark great, but she still has a lot to learn when it comes to being a champion. Okay? And there's things that everybody can learn. Not just Caitlin, the whole lineup. But this one was specifically a move for Caitlin Clark. It was. A lot of people are going to die. This was a move to oversee Caitlin Clark and to mentor Caitlin Clark, which I think this is tremendous. And another point Jessica made, hey, content's going to be amazing. They already get the most analytics out of everybody, the Indiana Fever. Colson knows that. Her team knows that. Her management knows that. Her agent knows that. They're going over to Indiana for a reason. She's going to be great, especially coming in when Caitlin Clark goes to the bench and being able to run an offense and kind of slow things down if they needed to, or kind of just be that floor general. Kind of take things under her belt for a little bit and kind of slow the pace down, or keep the momentum up. You don't know whatever the team needs, Colson is going to be that girl to be like, okay, I got it. You're not going to have to teach her how to be a pro. You're not going to have to teach her to work hard. You're not going to have to teach her to be operated and eat like a pro and be on time for this. She'll be there. Oh, 7 a.m. film. I'm there. I'm there at 6:30. That's who Colson is. She has a track record of excellence when it comes to being a pro in the WNBA. And that's what Cox is looking for, Coach White is looking for, and that is what Kelly is looking to bring into the Indiana organization. I'm telling you. So I'm excited with this trade right here. I know I haven't talked about it much, but this trade is big time to me. I think this is a big time trade, and I would say this is one of the top 2 trades out of all the trades the Fever has done. I'm telling you. This right here, watch how Caitlin Clark goes this year. She was already in Caitlin Clark 2.0. I'm telling you, man, a lot of guys like me, I don't mind accepting the fact that, hey, having somebody who's experienced and been through this and that and been through the ins and outs of the league and been the talks and the media and all of that stuff, and being in situations where girls are trying to trap you. Oh, what do we do in this situation? Oh, the fans are talking crazy. We're in the playoffs. Like, there's so many different things that go into just scoring, playing defense, and what we see on basketball. Mentorship, leadership, which I'm not saying Caitlin Clark hasn't had that. Of course she's had that. Another point I like to bring up is, hey, Caitlin Clark nails all her interviews. Caitlin Clark speaks at a high level, and so does Natasha Howard. I saw Natasha Howard do 2 interviews now, which I've reacted to. I mean, they are lovely to watch. If you haven't, you got to go watch the Natasha Howard interviews with the Indiana Fever, welcoming her back to the Indiana Fever organization. It is amazing. It is amazing. Very well-spoken, very confident player, high aspirations and high goals, trying to get into the Hall of Fame, a 3-time world champion. I mean, not world, a 3-time WNBA champion. Someone who started with the Indiana Fever, now is with the Indiana Fever. Will probably want to end their career with the Indiana Fever and retire there. She played with Coach Stephanie White when she was a rookie. I mean, so many things. It's not just about who they're bringing into the Indiana Fever. They're bringing pieces, legends, like people that they really, really like and connected to and have relations with. So, Sydney Colson, this is amazing. I love this trade. This is a huge pickup. The Indiana Fever, yes, they are contenders this year. Yes, they will make noise in the playoffs. And yes, I have them to win the championship this year. Because when you have a team like this, you have to now guard 1 through 5. It is no guarding 1, 2, and 3. I mean, 1, 2, and 5. It is guarding 1 through 5, and you got 6, 7, 8, 9 off the bench. Don't forget about Dantas at the 10 spot, too. You got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. With a big that you could put at the 5 if you wanted to spread the floor. And I don't even want to get into the lineups because, I mean, bro, you could put Natasha Howard at the 5 if you wanted to run a small lineup. Put DB at the 4, Sophie at the 3. Or you could put Katie Lou at the 4, depending how she's going to play this year, which I think she's going to come and ball out. I think she's going to have a revive year. I seen what she's doing in Unrivaled. She looks like she's very confident, playing with a little swagger to her, knocking down some shots, playing some good defense, looking a little bit more agile and in shape. I'm telling you now, this Indiana Fever team is going to come in ready to play. You like I said with the lineups. Now you got Alexi Hall. If Kelsey Mitchell, you feel like she's a defensive problem right now for some games, or there's a certain lineup you going against somebody, okay, put Lexi Hall at the 2. You can still run a DeWanna Bonner or a Cunningham at the 3. You can still put Natasha Howard at the 4 or 5, or DB at the 4 spot, or Dantas at the 4 spot. And you can put Dantas at the 4 or 5, and she can shoot the 3, rebound. So now you have a serious issue if you're playing the Indiana Fever. Because 1 through 5, they could all shoot. They could all pass. They could all run the floor. And they could all defend. DeWanna Bonner could guard 1 through 5. It's going to be a problem when you play the Indiana Fever. It absolutely is. Like, you have to be in shape, one, because this team is going to run. I saw the Natasha Howard interview. Like I said, her number one, I can't wait to play with Caitlin Clark. I'm going to be running the floor. Like those outlet passes that Caitlin, she looks up before she even passes up. She said, I'm going to be getting in my, the question was, what are you going to be doing up until the season? I'm going to be getting in the best shape as I can, my nutrition, and making sure I'm able to perform night in and night out, being able to run the floor. Like, they're not bringing, like, oh, you're midway through your career. Nah, we're bringing some seasoned vets. DeWanna Bonner, probably Hall of Famer when you really think about it. Natasha Howard will most likely be a Hall of Sydney Colson will most likely be a Hall of Famer. 2-time WNBA champion, Sydney Colson. So they're building a legacy in the Indiana Fever organization. And I'm excited for it. I'm super excited for it. The contenders 100%. Are there any other points we want to touch on?
Basketball players we've ever seen. She nails all of her interviews. I
said all this. Like, look, the interviews are going to be amazing for content purposes and media purposes. Bro, if I'm the media team, I'm looking at Indiana like, bro, I don't want to cover anything else. I'm going straight to Indiana, where we could talk to Colson. 1 through 5, you got stars on there. 6 through, they all can speak very highly. These are all superstars, bro. And these girls are going to elevate their game in Indiana. I'm telling you right now what's going to happen. A lot of these girls will elevate their games in Indiana. So I'm excited, man. I know you guys are too. Like I said, I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. That's really all I got for this specific video. I'll get some more content out. And by the way, if you guys did watch that Jason Whitlock last video we did, I'm getting a lot of backlash about the whole situation. I wasn't going to do the video. And even like 30 seconds into the video or whatever into the video, I was just like, man, I don't even know if I want to do this, just because of the fact that we don't discuss certain topics. But I tried to maneuver the best way I can and do what I do. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. I'm out.